Okay, let's get started with this. First of all, when we talk about a feature file, so first I need to talk about the basic thing, which is BDD. So the BDD is nothing but the name itself. It was talking about the behavioral driven development. So what does this BDD means? We do have our SDLCs, right? We do have different kind of SDLCs like waterfall model, prototype model, increment model, and we have V model. There are many models that are available in our SDLC, which is our software development lifecycle. In this one of our development life cycles, nowadays in almost all the companies, in all the projects, we are just using our Agile. So when it comes to the Agile development methodology, so BDD is one of the category in the Agile. So previous to this one, we have TDD means like test data driven development. And then even we have ATDD means acceptance test data driven development. We have different categories of this, but overall in this particular perspective, so BDD had made some commendable change, and then it had brought a new revolution in terms of understanding the requirements, and it made some common platform across the teams. Means as we know in Agile, we have our POs and then the developers and then managers or whoever it might be, even the layman, should able to understand the commonality of the requirements. So now if I given a particular requirement, actually there is one of the good slide over here, which I have been seeing here. See, you can take that. So this lady is our BA, and this guy means BA, and then this guy is our acts as a PO or someone else, and then this is our developer. So when we talk about something, so always the POs will have some point like, so okay, this is one of the good example. So we would like to encourage our new user to buy in our shop. So therefore 10% of discount for their first orders we wanted to give it. So when we have been given for that one, the same, when the developer thinks from that particular point of view, he always thinks from the coding perspective. And when a business analyst or when a PO thinks from that particular, means the manager, he will think about at a high level picture. So now to bring back all these people, we should have a common platform. So that particular common platform, so they wanted to build it up with this particular BDD. And moreover, the best part of the BDD is it's like a behavioral driven development, means how exactly the user will mimic the actions. So that's where here in the BDD, we will be having all the things in the workflow pattern. For an example, you take any particular retail market or retail sites, like we have take Amazon. So in the Amazon, if you wanted to buy a product, so first we'll search for the product, and then we will go to the product detail page, and then we'll select the size, and then we'll click the add the button. It will go to the product checkout page, and from the checkout page it will go to the secure page for the payments, and then successfully done. So exactly how the user has been behaved, the positive flow, so we will be completing that particular flows. So BDD always talks about how a particular user will behaves. So this is how, this is a very brief introduction which I wanted to give on the BDD, because we can have a separate session exactly what is this SDLC model, and then how it was different with the ATDD, or how it is different from the TDD. So those differentiations and discussions, we will have it in a separate discussion. But as of now, for this particular session, we should know what is a BDD at a very high level. So now we understand that the key captures of this particular slider is the BDD is one of our Agile software development model, and where it talks about the complete user behavior, and where it provides a common platform across the developers, managers, or the clients, or the testers, or whoever it might be. And then it would be clearly written in a English language, which is readable, and it is very easy to maintain also. And it helps a lot in the maintenance too, when it comes to the scenarios, especially from the test cases, because we write our test cases in the test management tool, and whenever we wanted to maintain that particular test cases, it would be one of the challenge for us, because always the requirements changes. We may have the tendency to forget to update that particular test cases in the test management tool. But here, what is the problem, until unless you change that particular statement in the BDD feature files, so then only that particular implementation will go into the live. So that means it enforces to maintain the feature files, then only you can develop certain things. So those are the beauties of this particular features of this BDD. Now, with this one, I just wanted, now we have a very high level picture. What is a BDD? Now, if you have this particular BDD, then now immediately we can get into the feature files? No. So before going to the feature files, we should know about how this BDD can be implemented across the projects or across the tools or across the development process. So we do have multiple tools available in the market. For an example, if you pick Java, so then we will be using Cucumber. Or if you pick like a C#, then we have SpecFlow. If you pick Python, we do have Lectus. And we have many other tools like HipTest and Q scenarios. And we do have JBehave, which is a Java behave. Like this, we have many other tools that are available where these tools will support the BDD. So now we got the pointer that BDD is a SDLC model. According to the BDD SDLC model, we have a couple of tools available in the market, and these couple of tools will help us to implement this particular BDD. So for the matter of our session, we are taking the example as a Cucumber, and then we are proceeding further. See, as I told you, if it is a Java projects, we'll be using with the Cucumber, or if it is a Python, we'll go for the Lectus. Like we can select based upon our technologies, means tech stack, in which languages we are implementing it. Now, Cucumber, or if you take any SpecFlow, or if you take the Lectus, or if you take any tool, those are the frameworks which it will support the BDD. So that particular tools means which we need to call it as a frameworks, which it will support the BDD. This is a first pointer. And second thing is, in these particular tools, we need to write our scenarios, right? Our requirements. So for writing that particular requirements, we will be writing in normal common English, which it can be understandable by all the people. So this is called as a Gherkin language. So the Gherkin, so spelling is Gherkin. So in the Gherkin language, we'll be writing this one. And so actually, see now how it would be coming, means who will be writing this particular feature files or anything means, first of all, whatever the things we got a requirement, so that requirement will be written in the Gherkin language, and the same file can be distributed for the developer, distributed for the tester. So based upon that particular file, they will generate the respective development code from the development side and the respective development from the testing perspective. You know the beauty of the BDD, when we will do the automation usually once after the complete of the development phase. But without completing an application, means even we didn't see, means even the developers didn't even started the application, parallelly we can write the automation code. So that's the beauty and the excellence of this BDD. And that's where 100% automation in the sprints, all those also follows in the part of BDD. And how this can be achievable, I'll see whether we can talk that particular part in part of our discussion today. Okay, but that's one of the excellent feature. And most of the companies are opting for the BDD because of one of this particular reason. Okay, so now we understand what is BDD and means at a high level, and we have some tools in market for that particular tools which implement BDD for writing the common languages, which is called in a Gherkin language. Now, as we are talking about the Cucumber, so now we will be calling it as Cucumber feature file. If it is for the spec flow, then we'll call it as a spec flow specs. Means they have different names. It is just a synonym. Means if you wanted to use it in the lectures, we'll call it as a feature file. And if it is a Cucumber, we will feature file. JBehave, we will call it as a feature file. In a spec flow, we'll call it as spec. Means feature files can be it's a nomenclature. It's a synonym. Few people call it as a feature file, or few people will call it as a spec. So don't get confused about it. Now, what is a feature file? So this is what the first question means. Either means when I'm talking about a feature file, this is common across all the tools. Don't restrict your things to the Cucumber, because as of now, these slides are related to the Cucumber feature file. So that's the reason everywhere it has been tagged with the Cucumber, but it is common across all the tools now. Now, when it comes to the feature file, see, when you wanted to start your execution, means what is the starting point of your execution is our feature files. For an example, I'll just show one of a dummy framework, which dummy project which we have been done in that particular project. Now I have this particular home page, and this is what my feature file, as we discussed, it is a normal English. Everyone can read about it and they can understand about it. So if you see here, so they can easily read this one. So this is a feature file, deals with the home page validation. User should navigate to the home page and tapping all the controls in the home page. User should click on the header. User should click on the pop-up close button. So now by seeing this one, easily we can understand for this. Now these are written in the Gherkin language, and these set of things are called as a feature files. As I told you, now every line will consist of respective code developed. The same way how we have written our automation scripts over here, the developers also will write the respective code for this. So now that is the reason, if I change something over here, see now, if I changed here, see immediately it was showing me in highlighted in the amber. So that means there is a change. Now I can't go into the step level. So now definitely I need to change the feature, means the statement, then only I can go to the respective code and then I can implement. So this is the way we can maintain our test scenarios to the respective updated flows. Okay, now coming back to here. So we said the feature files are these entry points. Now you see here, now I wanted to navigate to the home, first we have done the sample project on the decathlon. Okay, on this particular thing, so we have been navigating to the home page, and in the home page we are verifying the home page title. So now these are the things, means so until unless the execution comes and hit this particular point, it will not start performing actions on the real time. So the feature files are basically entry point for our executions. So clear? The point is, majorly, if you start any execution, so the framework related stuff will execute first in further, and then when you wanted to start the real-time execution, it comes to the feature file and then only it will execute. And as I said, so this is a live document. So in this particular live document, whatever the changes we are making, according to that particular changes only, it will perform. And one more thing, as we discussed, if you've seen here, a feature file can consist of one scenario or multiple scenarios. So now I'll take it like a login feature, and for the login, whatever the possibilities are there, I'll be writing all the possible scenarios for this one. For an example, what are the possible scenarios we will be having for the login page? So every time, as we discussed, we will be having the possibility like true, true, false, true, false, false, true, false. Because this is one of the thumb rule. If you have any particular parameters, it's 2 to the power of 2. Means I have two parameters, means username and password. So we will be having the truth table, true, true, and true, false, and false, false, and false, true. Means both username and password is right, username is right and password is wrong, and then both are false, means both are wrong, and then first one is false and second one is true. So this is the possibilities we're writing. So these are multiple scenarios, right? All those scenarios can be written over here. So a feature file consists of one scenario or multiple scenarios. It can be segregated basis on the modules also. For example, in home page, whatever the things which I wanted to run, I'll keep all my things on the home page. And whatever the things I wanted to keep it on the login page, I'll keep it all the things into the login page feature files. So that's the way usually the people maintain. It's an ease of maintenance. Okay, boss, now I understand where the feature file is born and what is a basic normal feature file. I understand. Now what's next? Okay, now as we jump into this one, now it means as we discuss the Gherkin, means we have been a Gherkin language, right? What is a Gherkin language? I just wanted to give 2 pointers. It's a domain specific language which it defines the behavior of the users and how we need to implement that particular pointers. As I shown you, so here it was defining the user behavior. So the user wanted to log in with the right credentials and right password. So if we wanted to do that one, so the implementation also will be written according to the each statement. And if you see here, documents have the user scenarios, and writing an means for that particular user scenarios, we will be writing the automated tests. This is very pretty simple about the Gherkin language. And as we show in this particular diagram, everyone will have, means every entity have their own perceptions. To bring all those perceptions into a common platform, so we will be using the Gherkin language or this particular BDD tool. And now the next pointer, very important thing is, what are the keywords which we can use for a feature file? Now we know what is a feature file. Now the question is how we can prepare that particular feature file. And even before that one, we need to know about two things. One is imperative style and one is declarative style. This is how to write a particular feature file. So when it comes to how to write a feature file means, I'll give you a small example. By this you can easily understand what is an imperative style and what is a declarative style. When it comes to the imperative style, see what is my, first I'll say my scenario. Scenario is to, just give me a second guys. Yeah. Okay. Scenario is to just log in. Okay. For this one, what in how I can write my imperative style or how I can write my declarative style, I'll just let you know. So in imperative style, what I need to do, open browser, means whatever the Chrome browser. I will mention that one as Chrome browser. Okay, and then I can say that navigate to where I should navigate to the same DC homepage, and then click on use, means login, and then enter user name and enter password and click login button and verify whether we reached home page. Okay, this is the way I'll be writing the imperative style. Now if you see here, what I told you, each and every line will convert into the implementation part. This is very clear, but when it comes to the automation point of view, if you write this one, see, enter username means for this one I should write an implementation. For this one I should write an implementation. For this one I need to write implementation. This line I need to write implementation. Now what I'll try to do is the same thing. Open Chrome browser and navigate to DC homepage for login. Enter credentials and validate that we reached to home page. And guys, here one thing you need to remember that this will be performed by user. So always you should tag this one. User should open the Chrome browser and user should enter the credentials like this. Now if you see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, where I am able to address all those things within the 2 lines or not. Why should we write? Means by seeing this one itself, we can understand that imperative style is nothing but it's a detailed level of steps which we are trying to write. And declarative style is nothing but we can means compress, but it shouldn't miss the assigns of that particular steps. So why should we write in this particular pattern? Because if you means there is no wrong if you can write it in the imperative style or you can write it in the declarative style. There is no wrong, but when it comes to the automation point of view, so we should go with the declarative style. So why should we go for the declarative style? Because each line implementation, see, for entering a username, if it means one line of code for the each implementation, which it doesn't make any big difference for me. But if you see here, in this line, I enter my username and I enter my password and click the login button. And even I'm validating whether I have been reached the home page or not. Here also, I'll be open the browser and navigate into the login page. So this is a way we need to, means this is more apt for the automation. So always it is preferred to write your steps in the declarative style. But keep one thing in mind, even though if you are writing in the declarative style, you shouldn't miss the assigns or the gist of this particular statements. We shouldn't miss the functionality. Okay, and how you wanted to keep it in your, that's own your English grammar and the way how you wanted to represent, it's perfectly fine how you wanted to write it. Okay, so the feature file can be write in 2 styles. One is imperative style and the declarative style. And the consensus of this one is declarative style is more suitable for the test automation. So this is what the consensus. Now we got this one. Now I know that I need to write it in a declarative style. The next step is how to write a particular feature file, or what are the keywords are available in the feature file. So that particular thing here we will be discussing about it. Overall, we do have 10 keywords from the for writing this particular feature files. Now we will see those things, how it will work. I'll take a real-time example. In this particular real-time example, if you see here, we do have a couple of things. The first one is feature. The feature is nothing but this keyword will talk about the title of that particular feature file. So now the title of this one is DC homepage validation. So that is a title. And next line, if you write like this, then this is the description of that particular feature. So this feature deals with the homepage validation. And I'll come back to this background keyword later. So first I wanted to talk about these things and then I'll come back. So given, when, then. It is very simple that given is nothing but whenever you are performing some action, if I given you some prerequisites or when I given you some inputs for you to do that particular action, then those all things will falls under the given. Means I asked you to go and fight for a war. So given sword and sword and shield, user can go for a war, and he can fight with the, when he was fighting with the enemies, then he will win the war. That means, so given I'm giving some sword and shield for him, and then he will go and fight. The fight is nothing but he is performing some action. Means whenever you perform some actions, then all those things we will be keeping with the keyword called when. So when is nothing but it's action performing with the given inputs. And the last but not least, then is nothing but it's a result. So we can get the results. Means that king fought, or the user fought, and then he won the battle. Okay, so we have been given the sword and shield for that particular user, and when he went for a war and fight with the enemies, then he won the battle. So this is how we need to fit these particular keywords. So all your given inputs and the prerequisites will fall under the given statements, and the when statement we will be using some actions and methods, and then is nothing but it's a result of that particular action. So those things will be seeing in the then. And as we've seen, some common times we are using and is a conjunction where it will join two words, either with the given, either with the when, either with the then. So and can be used anywhere. If you see here, and everywhere we have been used. That means it was trying to join two particular statements. So given, when, then, feature, and we also discussed about and the next pointer is, if you see here, we are using scenario. Scenario means here, this is a feature, this is a feature title. Same way, this is scenario with a title over here. So now, for an example, in the login page, so what we can say is, the scenario name is login with the correct username and password. Login with correct username and wrong password. Login username with right password but wrong username. So that's where we can write the titles of those scenarios. So this here itself we will be mentioning that particular title. And all these things would be starting with a capital letter. All keywords should start with the capital letters. Now we can see given, when, and then. So these are completed. Now we do have next things called but. So but is used to mention some negative scenarios. See, I wanted to watch a movie, but I do have some work. See, now whenever you're telling something negative or negative senses, mostly we will be using the but. But it is very rare we need to use this particular but, because always we use, these are the generic keywords we will be using, and when, then, and these are the four keywords very frequently we will be using it of. Okay, so what are the keywords we have been discussed? Just we can quickly see that. Feature we have been discussed, scenario we have been discussed, given, when, then, and but. So we have been discussed about these things. Now, the most important thing is we wanted to discuss about the background. Okay, so what do you mean by a background keyword? So if you see, that plays a very vital role in this particular feature files. If you understand this background keyword, majority of the feature files easily you can write it. Okay, now we'll see the same scenario. What is meant by background? Background is nothing but which is the common across all your feature files or all your scenarios. Okay, Chris, can you tell me how we need to do this? Now I'll take this login example. Now I'll just try to do some small manipulation in this particular file. Okay. Okay. Now means, as you know that this is a login page. In the login page, I can create single scenario or multiple scenarios. Now this first scenario is having correct username and password. So which means we will be having like both true, true, right? And here what I'll try to do, correct username and wrong password. So what I'll try to do here, true and false. And what I'll try to do here, wrong username and then wrong password. Sorry, correct password. Okay. And here I'll use wrong username and wrong password. So here what it talks about is it's fail and fail. And here it talks about fail and pass. Okay, 4 scenarios we have been written. Now, 4 scenarios means from where it has to start. So the first thing is, if you go to here, user should navigate to the Decathlon homepage, and then we should validate whether we reached the homepage or not. Then user should click and navigate to the login page. Then he can enter the right username and password. And either he can use the correct username and wrong password. So if you wanted to start this particular scenario, where you need to come. So what are the common steps we will be having it? So those common level steps we will be keeping in the background. Very simple. Now I have a multiple scenarios. All the scenarios, what are the common steps till where I need to start? So those things we will be mentioning into the background keyword. It is very simple. So if you understand it very correctly, background keyword is nothing but for your group of scenarios, what is your starting point, or which are the common steps it involved for this all, that you can keep it into the background. Else what I need to do, I need to copy this all steps, and then I need to keep it in the every scenario, right? So this here also I'll be doing the same, and here also I'll be doing the same, and in the last scenario also I'll be doing the same, right? So I don't want to see now everywhere this has been replicated, means it was duplicated. So I don't want to do it in this way. So what I'll try to do, I'll just write it over here directly, where in the background keyword, when this keyword will be executed before each scenario. Now when I was executing this scenario, first this will be executed, and when I execute in this scenario, this will be executed, and when I execute this particular scenario, this will be executed. You mean to say that if you are writing some multiple features in a particular, multiple scenarios in the feature file, the common steps need to be fall under the background keyword. So that's very simple and pretty straightforward. Okay, I just wanted to give a pause over here. Do you have any particular questions around this, so that I can clear it off, and then I can go for now types of feature files. Started. Now, when we seen this, so now I'll just come back to the same normal feature file. It's been launched. I just try to delete it off. I'll come to the normal. Now, what are the types of the feature files we will be having it? The most important thing here you guys need to understand about one thing is, we have scenario and scenario outline. When should we use scenario? When should we use scenario outline? And when should we use the data tables? These 3 things we should understand. If you understand these things, now from next minute you can start writing the feature files. Okay, I'll try my best to give you the more as quickly as possible. And guys, one more small information. So these are the called as tags. Tags are nothing but it's a grouping of that particular test cases. Scenarios are nothing but are test cases. Feature files are nothing but are test scenarios. So test. What do you mean by a test scenario? Test scenario would be our high level modules where we can split into multiple test cases. So each scenario will call as one particular test case. Now what I wanted to do, I wanted to group into few test suits. Test suite is nothing but group of test cases. Now I wanted to group my smoke test cases. I wanted to group my regression test cases. I wanted to group my regression high level test cases, low level test cases, or module wise. I wanted to group them or filter those particular test cases. Whenever you wanted to group them, thus you need to add this particular tags. Means by seeing this one, I can understand that this is a showstopper test case, so that I can keep this one as my smoke test. And I can take the decision, I can keep this one as my regression test. So those things you can keep it on top of the scenario. So you can map this particular scenario for multiple groups also. So now I can keep this one for the smoke. At the same time, I can keep it for the regression also. So the same scenario can be, whenever we are executing in the smoke, then this scenario will be executed. Whenever I execute it for the regression, at that time also this will be executed. Where we will be selecting this one means in the Gherkin jobs build parameters, we will be having the build parameters option, right? In that particular build parameter options, you can select the respective tags. Once you select the respective tag, there you can execute that specific test. Now, this is a standard feature file where you have feature, background, and scenario, multiple scenarios or a single scenario. You will be having it and you will be writing in a normal English. Okay, this is one type of feature file. Second type of feature file is nothing but it is a inline parameter feature file. So these feature files are called as inline parameter feature files. This is normal feature files or standard feature files, and this is called inline parameter feature files. The name itself, we can understand that in the line we are passing the parameter. For an example, now here what we are trying to do is we are just trying to create a table. Which table is that? Data table. We are trying to create that particular table. What I'm trying to do is, rather than writing 4 times this scenario, so what I'll do like this. Rather than, means previously I shown it, right? Right username, right password. Why I should write that many times? What I'll try to do is I'll create a particular table. So in this particular table, I'll be having true, true, and here I'll be having false, true, and here I'll be having true, false, and here I'll be having false, false. Now that my scenario file will be decreased, right? With one scenario itself, I'm able to address that one. What I'm trying to do, let's see that. Once I'll open the browser, once I'll verify the title, once I go to the login page. Then what I'll try to do is, first time I will enter the right username and right password and I'll click it. So when I click this scenario, automatically where I'll go? So directly I'll go to the home page, right? Because my both credentials are passed, then it should go for the right scenario. But what I'll try to do is, I'll execute this statement in the last and I'll execute these 3 statements first. Now, what it would be matter for, means how it would be matter for me is, I don't need to open the browser every time. This will happen in only one single session itself. With a single session, I'll open the browser and first 3 times I'll check with the 3 negative scenarios, fail, true, true, false, false, false. Then what it will throw me? It will throw me the error message. Always what I'll do here with these 3 statements, then verify the error message. Message means for this statement, once it got, verify the error message, and next means what I'll write is, and what I'll write, iterate the above steps. So first I'll do this and verify the error message and go for the next one. I'll iterate and validate the error message, and next Once again, I'll iterate and verify this message. Once after that one, then I'll write this particular statement again here, stating that now you go ahead with the right username and password, and once you have been clicked, then I'll go to the home page and verify the header. So what it will try to do is, for this particular line, okay, for this particular line, you need to enter the credentials thus. And if you wanted to continue in the same session, then keep some for loop and then you can execute it. Actually, this is one of the typical way where we will be having the problems. So usually we will not try to perform this. There is some other alternative option in the same feature files they have been given for it. So as of now, if you wanted, when we need to use this inline parameters is, just you need to remember only one thing, that whenever suddenly you, for this particular line, I have some parameters, then I'll use this. Don't go for this particular iterations in the data table. We can do this, but as of now, don't focus, don't get into that unless you are very clear with these particular scenarios. Now, what is the gist of this particular thing is, whenever for a particular statement, if you wanted to enter the parameters, then those parameters you can write it in inline. So now if you see here in the normal, just there is no parameters I need to pass it. Just I need to click and go, click and go, click and go. But for anything, if I wanted to enter the parameters, then I'll be entering the parameters like this. Don't do the iteration in this way. Okay, why you can understand in the further thing. Now this is the second category of the feature file. Now still everything is common, still you are seeing it as scenario. Now we do have next category of thing, which is called scenario outline. So you need to remember, guys, every session means every scenario will be executed as a new session. Now, for an example here, if I have added 4, as we have been seen previously 4, every time it will open the browser, navigate to this and perform this and close the browser. So for the first scenario, it do the same. For the second scenario, it do the same. Third scenario, it do the same. Fourth scenario, it will do the same. Means every time it will open the browser, every time it will navigate to the browser, navigate to the URL, and every time it will perform the actions. But by this, we do have the disadvantage that it consumes a lot of time. Now, if you wanted to perform the same iterations in same iterations in single session, then how we need to do this? For this one, we do have another concept called scenario outline. Scenario outline is nothing but, in the same session, if you wanted to perform multiple iterations, means if you wanted to do the multiple iterations, you will be using for loop, while, or do while. Without all those things, automatically tools will handle that one. Means Cucumber will handle over here. Now you see here what we are doing. See, now the beauty of the feature files are, in the home page, if I define once, see now if I define, means I have implemented this code, right? I implemented this code, right? For the 2 lines. Sorry. User should navigate to the Decathlon homepage, verify the title of this one. I implemented only once. If you see here, I'm calling the same thing. And if you see here, even I'm calling the same thing. And the implementation will point to the same method. Means, you see how much reusability of the code can be done. So these are the default features of the Cucumber, means of any particular tools. Now what it has been done, coming back to our discussion to discuss about what is a scenario, difference between a scenario and scenario outline. We given the background keyword that user should open the browser, navigate to the Decathlon homepage and verify whether the title of that particular homepage is not. Then what we are asking is, user should enter text in the search box and we are passing that particular parameter. Now what it will happen, For the first time, he will enter the dumbbell. Second time, he will enter the raincoat. That means what? I'll practically try to show it to you. So now I'll go here. I'll just go for something decathlon. And as an example, now I'll go to the search box. I'll first search with the raincoats, and then I'll search with the dumbbell, and I'll search with the boxing gloves. See, now I'm searching, I opened only one browser and I'm searching different things. This is called scenario outline. Means we will open the session only once and we will iterate multiple times for certain parameters. Then it is called scenario outline. But if you ask me what is a scenario means, see, if I wanted to do the same thing, once again, first I'll open once again, I will try to open the decathlon. First, what I'll search here, I'll search the raincoat and I will close this. Once again, I'll open the browser. Once again, I'll go to the decathlon. And then once again, I'll search for dumbbell. And then I'll close this. And once again, I'll open the browser. Once again, I'll open decathlon. I will search for boxing gloves. So what is the conclusion or the gist you need to understand means, scenario means it will do only once in that particular session. Means it will, every time it will open new browser, navigate and perform that action. But whereas scenario outline, it can do all the things in the same session. So whenever you encounter those type of things in the same session, I can do multiple things. At that point of time, you need to select the scenario outline. Or if it is, it means if you are able to, if we can perform in the different sessions, then we need to use this particular scenario. So hope you got the clear picture about what is a basic difference between a scenario and a scenario outline. So now if you see here, I'm passing the parameter as product name here. It should be exactly matched to the product name. So for the first iteration, it will take with the dumbbell. For the second iteration, it will take with the raincoat. So this is how you need to, and one more important thing is, whenever you are using the scenario outline, we should use examples. Under the example, you need to define this. So now all together, we keep it into one single particular feature file. These are the feature files. Usually we will see it a lot in our real-time projects. In the real-time project, if you see here, so here we can see the feature and feature title and the feature description. And if you see the background, in the background, user should navigate to the home page, verify the title, and he should log in with credentials, and then he should go to the home page. Till that is my background keyword, means I reached the home page. Once after reaching to the home page, what are the scenarios I need to perform? So if you see here, what I'm trying to do is, first I'm trying to get one particular product called 100 cycles raincoat. Okay, so if you study here, what usually I'm trying to do, you can easily understand. First thing, user entered the product in the search box. Means I'm trying to enter this particular in the search box. I search for this particular product and verify that product display in the search results. Means when I entered something, means boxing gloves, it displayed over here. And once it displayed, click on the particular product. Means now I got my product here. I'm just trying to click on this. So once I reached here, verify the product detail page is displayed or not. So now this is my product detail page. With the breadcrumb, I'm just identifying that I have been reached this particular page. So once I verify that, click an add to cart button. So I can directly click on that particular product. But now here, I should select the size of this and then I should click add to cart. Now I have been clicked add to the cart successfully. Again, click on proceed to checkout button. No, actually, now they have been changed this particular structure because that we have been written long back. So if you means they'll be having an option proceed to checkout. So now here we have it, right? So this proceed to checkout button, and then again click the thing. Now once again we need to click on proceed to checkout in that particular thing. So I'm just clicking on this. Oh, I'm not logged in customer, so I used to be logged in. Then what it will be doing is verify the product price. If you see here the product price, it should be 1999, and click continue shop. Means order summary, means here you'll get the summary value, right? Even verify that particular order summary value as 1999. So that also I mentioned over here. And then click on continue to shopping button on the left corner, because I wanted to add, this is for the first product, and I wanted to add second product also. So then what we have done is we just copied these steps and we have been kept over here, and dynamically here we are passing the second product. So the second product value is this, and the value of that particular thing is this 799, and the order summary would be 2798. How? The 799 plus 199, 1099 will go for 2798. So then what I need to do, click to the proceed to checkout button, my shopping page, and then we will be reaching the secured checkout page. From secured checkout page, we will pay that, and then we'll go for the payments, and then we'll complete it. I think Rajesh has been done all this particular stuff. So if you wanted in the demonstration, he will show you that how we need to do this. And why we have been spent this much of time on this one, because if you don't write proper feature files, then once again, the automation engineer need to sit and then he need to revamp that particular feature files. Writing a feature file is an art. So first you need to understand whether it's a scenario or scenario outline, how we need to handle that one. So we can have multiple lines on this, multiple lines. If you see here, yesterday we shown one for one of the Shipcom project, we have been seeing that there are multiple rows to validate it. So all those things will be defined in the examples, or whether we need to define in the inline parameter. So that we need to sit and discuss once again with the automation engineers. So how they are writing that particular code. According to that, we need to write the feature files, or else every time that would be a rework on this particular feature files too. So by this, I just wanted to end this particular session on this feature files. So if you have any questions or anything, you can ask me on this.